just like to thank Fabio Capello and his staff for the education that I've received from them over the last 3.5 or 4 years. It's been invaluable to myself, and how welcoming they were to me to come into the fold and work with the senior team over that period of time. So I'd just like to thank Fabio and his staff for that.
Stuart, hello. Fraser Campbell has been, you've picked him in the squad after he's just returned to Sunderland's first team. What is it about him that's excited you?
I know Fraser quite well because obviously the heads up I've got really on this is I've taken the majority of these boys to under-21 tournaments. Fantastic on the road with us at under-21 level. He's come back into the Sunderland side and given him a real lift. I spoke with Martin about him at a game a few days ago, and he spoke very highly of him. I think he's worked fantastically well to get back from the injury he had, and I think he's an exciting young talent. You know that I think he'll thrive by coming into this environment with us next week.
And Tom Cleverley, who was named in the original Holland squad back in August, is back in again this time after injury. Yeah.
As I say, once again, been to a major championships with him. I've been on the road with him to tournament football. Started the season fantastically well. It's been a bit stop-starty with injuries for him. But I think he's come back into the United side. They've changed position with him and played him in a touch more central role, which is something I didn't do at under-21 level. And he's flourished with that, really, you know, and they talk highly of him. From what I see and from what I know of him, I think he's got a bright future. And there's quite a few names within this squad that I think just being around a senior setup will stand them in good stead. And I think at this stage as well, we're on the home run for the tournament in the summer, and I think it's important that we do get one or two of these young faces in here and find out whether they can handle a game of this magnitude.
Micah Richards got one appearance as a sub under Fabio, but you've called him straight back into the squad. Is he somebody you particularly rate?
Yeah, he makes me laugh. I give him his debut as a club player. I think he's done extremely well this year. To hold your place in the Manchester City team is no mean feat these days with the finances they've got there. And I think he's had a smashing season. And I think Mika's one of those that, if we wind the clock back maybe 4 or 5 years, however long it was, you know, I think the media were talking about him possibly being a 100-cap England player. Now, talk and delivery is quite, you know, a different module, if you like, but he's got a great opportunity here to come in and impress.
Of the senior players that have been omitted, should we read anything into that? Like Frank Lampard, for example?
My mentality really going into this game and picking this squad was, what would I need to learn as a manager going into a major tournament in the summer, and what would the possible next manager that's coming through the door here, looking from afar, need to learn about individuals. Now, I know Frank, I know John Terry, I know various other players, more senior players, if you like, that are not in the squad. I don't think I'd learn anything on Wednesday evening watching them play, but I might learn something from maybe one or two of the other individuals on whether they're going to be good enough to serve England in the summer.
That said, you have got Gareth Barry and Steven Gerrard in the side, who are hugely experienced as well.
Yeah, I mean, with the likes of Steven Gerrard, Steven's not been in the squad, I don't believe, since 2010, so someone told me, which is too long an absence for a player of his ability. So it's important that he come back in and got within the fold again. I think Wayne Rooney, situation with him, having a suspension, what will be done in the summer with the 2 friendly lead-up games is open to debate, but obviously suspension going into the first 2 group games, I think it's important that he's back on an international pitch and playing games. And also as well, I think it would be too easy maybe and too foolish to put a total inexperienced side out on that pitch to a game of this magnitude. So there have to be 1 or 2 old heads maybe that guide 1 or 2 of the youngsters. That's how the game works.
It's been pretty quiet as far as other potential England candidates in the last week or so. I mean, realistically, do you think you might be in charge come the summer?
In the summer?
Yeah, for the
idea.
Euros.
I mean, we've seen fit that I have an involvement with the senior team over the last 4 years, which for me, it really helps my case in the under-21 dressing room. They know that I've got 1 foot in the senior camp, and I think all federations in world football should follow that model, or without a doubt, and have the under-21 manager as part of the senior setup. I'm available and I have tournament experience if they need me to step into the breach in the summer. That is obviously a decision for the employees here. You know, they know exactly where I am. I've not fluffed around it. I've not turned around and said, I'm not sure what I want to do. They know exactly what I want to do. If they need me to take the squad in the summer, I'll do that with pleasure. If they need me to coach a manager that's coming through the door, I'll do that with pleasure as well. But on and beyond that, at this moment in time, I consider myself, after the summer, as the Team GB manager and under-21 manager.
What was the reaction of the players that got left out, the senior ones? I know you've probably spoken to them. Were any shocked or surprised?
They were quite thankful that they had a telephone call from me, and maybe a personal visit as well on one individual's case. So, as I found out, I've been on the receiving end of the phone call that said, this is your first squad. I've also been on the receiving end of a phone call from Terry Venables saying, Graham Lassau's going to be taking your place and leaving the door open to me. I've also been on the end of a telephone call and a squad selection from Glenn Hoddle saying I'm not going to be picked anymore or whatever. So I've been at both ends of the spectrum, and the one thing that underpins probably my mentality on all of those occasions is the managers have gone out their way to either come and visit me or speak with me directly on the telephone, and I think that's very important. And as I say, all of them to a man quite understood exactly when I explained the reasonings behind it, and the fact of us as a federation have to look at possible young players going into the summer and them staking a claim.